Okay, here is the famous Russian tank, the Russian T34/76. This is the ChTZ version 1943 production. This kit is made by Tamiya in 1/35 scale. Just picked this up at my local hobby store. Thought I'd give it a go. So, I'm going to get the plastic off since I haven't even opened this yet. And we'll get this plastic off and we shall see what we have. If it's anything like the other tank models I've built from Tamiya, it's going to be good. Okay, there it is. Lid's off. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, sitting right on top, we have, let me situate something here. Sitting right on top, we have, excuse me, the upper part of the tank body. So it's molded in olive drab, I guess you could call it. It's got some pretty good detail on it. I'm sure more detail could be added onto it if somebody had a mind to do that. Stamped on the bottom here in the mold is I can't read that. 1997 or 1987 Tamiya. Yeah, looks pretty good. I don't see any real any flash or anything on this thing. Looks good. There's a little bit of a mold seam line right there. You can sand that off, no problem. Okay, also just laying in the box loose is the bottom part of the tank, the bathtub. And it has some suspension parts molded into the kit, into the bottom. And some more stuff. It says 1987 Tamiya. Okay. Huh. This one said, I guess it's also 1987. Okay. So 1987 Tamiya is the date that's on this molded piece. There's something else so interesting about this. There's spots for batteries. So apparently at some point in time this kit could be motorized. And you can see a couple holes on the bottom for the switches, I guess. I'm not motorizing this. All right. 1, 2, 3 bags with sprues in them, and then we have the treads. There's also a metal rod in here. Look at this. Metal rod with a screw and a nut, and I'm not sure what that's for yet. Here are the tank treads. These are the rubberized plastic tank treads. These are pretty thin. Really thin and really flexible. Looks like they go together in the typical way. So our paper down here in the bottom. Our Tamiya Tech Tips paper. And then the Tamiya instructions for the T34/76 Russian T34/76 tank, ChTZ version 1943 production, 1/35 scale. And we got figures with this. Okay, that's cool. Okay, inside this first page we have a little list of the colors, paint colors you're going to use. And on the instructions themselves, let's see, yeah, they do mark out the colors in certain parts. For instance, here's these are the road wheels, and it shows the outside rim of the road wheel XF1. XF1 is flat black. Okay. And we have road wheels, we have idler wheels, we have the drive wheel. Okay. Step 2 is working on a hatch. Step 3 is working on the top part of the tank, adding a piece of armor to the upper hull, etc. Another hatch. And step 4, they are saying track construction. Okay. They're also showing the upper hull and the bottom hull glued together. Step 5 is adding stuff onto the sides of the tank. Step 6 is building the gun and the turret. Step 7 is placing the turret onto the tank. And then step 8 is the figures. Looks like you get 3 figures. Infantrymen, all carrying weapons in various positions of running or whatever. Step 9 is, looks like the main machine gun that the infantry uses. And then turn it over on the back, it says painting. And it indicates what the main color of this tank is supposed to be for winter, for summer, and then there's the selection. The last selection is T34 captured and used by the Germans, and it shows a German insignia on there and a different paint job of dark yellow. That might be interesting to do. Huh. Anyway, there's the instructions. Okay, I'm going to open these bags and we'll take a look at these sprues. All right, I'm going to take a closer look at the sprues. Let's back the camera up just a bit. There we go, it's a little better. First thing I want to show is, this was in one of the bags with the sprues, are some decals. You notice there's some Russian or German markings right there, if you wanted to do the German version of it. Let's see, what else we got here? First sprue I'm going to look at is, now let's see, here we are. Here's sprue A. Okay. Olive drab plastic. We got these fuel tanks, I guess they are, that hang on the sides of the tank. We've got up here in this corner we have some cable. Right here, kind of in the middle, we have a hatch. We have back part of the hull, I believe. Some armor plating. Here's another piece of armor that has must go over where the engine compartment is. And let's see, what else can I identify here? Some pieces, spare track right here, and various other things. Some handles. Okay, the next sprue sprue C. This has all the wheels on it. There's all the road wheels, idler wheels, and the drive wheels. They look pretty good. Nicely detailed. I don't see any flash on them. Nice and clean. Yeah, looks good. This last plastic sprue, olive drab plastic sprue, has the turret on it. It has the figures. It has machine gun parts. There's some sort of a wheel there. There's the mantlet for the main gun. And right here next to the mantlet, it looks like the main gun barrel. Okay. Then we have, I guess that's it as far as the sprues go. Okay. And then we have these little plastic inserts. And I keep forgetting the name of these things. But these are all for all the wheels. And there's quite a few of them here. Polycaps. That's their name. I just remembered. Polycaps. Hey, when you get older, your memory tends to slip. Anyway, polycaps. There they are. All right, this just allows the wheels to turn. Okay, so I'm going to pause the camera, and the next thing you will see is starting with step 1. Okay. All right. Here are the instructions opened up and laid out on my working surface. Step 1 is building all the wheels and attaching them to the bottom hull, or the lower hull as they call it. So we're going to gather all the wheels, and most of the wheels are on the C sprue. So I'm going to gather all those up and lay them out here, and we'll start building those. And there's going to be a total of, let's see, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of the wheels, plus yeah, 14 of them. Okay. And that's why there's so many polycaps. So there we go. The C sprue is now empty. And here's all the piles of wheels. So here we have the piles of wheels that I just finished putting together. This bigger pile is the road wheels, right? We got a couple of drive wheels here, a couple of secondary wheels here, idler wheels, I guess you call them. I'm not sure. Anyhow, those are glued together. Only this one pair here, this wheel here, I should say these two wheels here, these so far are the only ones that had polycaps inserted inside of them into the two halves. The rest of these are going to be put onto the wheel shafts that are built into the tank body. They'll have polycaps on the outside holding them in place. That's what all the rest of these are for. Plus there's a couple other polycaps that are for something else on the model, I'm not sure what. Okay, so the next step is to get the lower hull and start adding these wheels to it. But before I do that, we have to sand a few spots in these wheels. Right here you can see where they were attached to the sprue. There's a little nub right there. I want to sand that smooth, and then we're going to paint the outside, I think, of all these wheels here, the outside edges of these wheels. They get painted flat black. Now the question is, I kind of have to stop myself here. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I have a tendency to do that sometimes. I have to decide what color I'm going to paint this tank. Am I going to do the typical, olive drab looking color? Or am I going to make this into the German version of this tank? If so, then I have to break out my desert yellow and start with that, and then we put the wheels on. No, that's even getting farther ahead. That's even getting too far ahead of myself if I do that. The reason I say that is because okay, here's the way it is. The road wheels go on like this, and then the drive wheels go on there. These other wheels go in the front, I believe, if I'm looking at this right. Let's see if I can get this right. Yeah. Yeah, the drive wheels go here in the back, and the other smaller wheels go up in the front. So anyway, if I put these wheels on now, then I can't really paint this lower hull piece the color I want, because it'll get all over the flat black of these tires. So what to do? I'll have to think about that. Alright, so part of this step is inserting this metal shaft in here. When I was first looking at it, I didn't know what it was for, but now I see what it is. And there's a screw with a nut with a clamp here, plastic clamp, and it screws in the back from the underside, goes up through, holds this clamp down, which in turn holds this shaft in place. The shaft moves, so it can spin around, and so you just tighten this down, and that's ready to go. This shaft looks like it's going to take these smaller wheels on it right here, with some of the polycaps holding them in place. Alright, so the shaft can actually come out. You don't have to leave it in there. And then when it's time to put the wheels on, you just simply slide the shaft back in there and you're ready to go there. Alright, that's kind of cool. So this is the color. If I decide to make this into a German tank, this is the color I'll be using, the XF59 by Tamiya. And so that means I have to paint this whole bottom thing first. And I'm at the point now where I conceivably could paint the lower hull right now, get that over with. In fact, I could paint the upper hull parts too, all at the same time. Then it'd just be a matter of putting it together after I paint these tires. Okay, so I think the plan I'm going to go with is take all the tires that I put together, clean them up, get them ready to get painted, and I will paint the Desert Yellow, the XF59 on the wheels, and then the tires I'll paint the flat black. That'll be ready to go. And when that's all done, I'll have the lower hull and the upper hull painted, plus the turret parts, and yeah, and the rest of it we can just start putting it together. Okay. As you can see, I have started putting the wheels on. Yeah. And so I just decided to, I was going back and forth and back and forth. I just decided to put them on. They spin really well. So I'm just going to paint them while they're in place and not worry about it. Because, you know, by the time you're all done painting a tank model and weathering it and scuffing it up and all the stuff you do to tank models, they're not going to look perfect anyway. So I'm not too concerned about it. With my airbrush, I can spray the inside here, or with my paintbrush, either way. And also I can get down here and paint this if I want to, and then paint the black. So I'm just going to do it that way. Not going to be concerned about it. So anyway, this was all after I started painting some of the tires. So these go on pretty simply. I'll show you. They just slip on like that over that shaft. You take the polycap, shove it in there, push it down nice and hard. There. Fits on nicely and it turns. I can just do all of them like that. Grab the polycap, push it on like so. And there we go. All the wheels are on. They all turn nice and smoothly. There we go. Heck, I could motorize this thing. Okay. Step 2. This is what I've got done. I've got these two polycaps put on right here. These are these odd shaped ones. I wasn't sure what they were for. But they went on these pegs that were right here. And that's going to be part of attaching this upper hole to the bottom hole. And then I put in a couple of these, these tie down parts on the front right there. That was the main part of step 2, and the other part was building this hatch. And you have to make a decision of selecting either open or closed. Most likely I'm going to have it closed, which means I glue it into place like this on the outside part of the upper hull. So I just put it in place there, press it into place basically. Then I take, there's a couple parts here that go over the top, and I think that they are supposed to cover these hinges, these heavy-duty hinges right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the glue, I'm going to glue this, the edge of the hatch where it meets the upper body, like so. Give it a final push in there to get it to position properly. There it is. There's the hatch. Now, these little dealy bobs here, I'm not sure what they're supposed to be for or how they're supposed to be used. They somehow are supposed to attach to the hinges of this thing. It's a little bit awkward, but I think that they go in like that. Of course you can't see it because my finger's in the way, but I think they somehow go in like that, but I'm not sure. They do fit like that. But if you look ahead in the instructions, they show an illustration of this, and these little hinge cover plates are actually laying down flat in there. Like so. It doesn't make much sense, but I think they just go like that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue them just like that. And just sort of push them in place there. I think I see what they're supposed to do here. I think they just go like that. Okay, let's glue this one in place. Okay, let's try that again. These guys are being really fiddly. Alright, let's try that. Okay, there we go. I think that's it. Those little hinge covers right there, they basically just sort of drop into place right there. And you line them up with the little hinge teeth. They're curved like my fingers, like this. They're curved and they line up with the little tabs, if you will, of these little cover plates. At least that's what it shows in the illustration, so hopefully that's right. Okay, so that means step 1 and step 2 are now completed. And I believe that's going to be it for now. And I will see you when I come back with part 2.